lessons. We are here back with the Holy Spirit and the King James Holy Bible to continue reading Gaining Knowledge, and we are on to Genesis 18. We have just read all about how if you're not circumcised, you're not going into heaven. I personally am praying that there is something that cancels that out later on. Not for my own well-being, as this is just a temporary physical body in a reality that is barely even real. I just don't want to have to deal with the NHS. So, Genesis 18. Then the Lord appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre. Hebrew, Alon Mamre. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. Manner of women had ceased to be. I know, that's later on. My apologies. Then the Lord appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre, as he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day. So he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing by him. And when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the ground, and said, My Lord, if I have now found favour in your sight, do not pass on by your servant. Please let a little water be brought and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the trees. And I will bring a morsel of bread that you may refresh your hearts. After that you may pass by, inasmuch as you have come to your servant. They said, Do as you have said. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, Quickly, make ready 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, took a tender and good calf, gave it to a young man, and he hastened to prepare it. So he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had prepared, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree as they ate. They said to him, Where is Sarah your wife? So he said, Here in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return to you according to the time of life. And behold, Sarah your wife shall have a son. Sarah was listening in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah had passed the age of childbearing. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. And the Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I surely bear a child, since I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, No, but you did laugh. Then the men rose from there and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing, since Abraham surely become a great and mighty nation? The Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing, since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I have known him, in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring to Abraham what has spoken to him. And the Lord said, Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me, and if not, I will know. It's pretty clear where George Lucas got the idea for Yoda to talk in a more difficult to comprehend way. I'm going to have to read that all again because none of it's gone in. When the men rose from there and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on their way, and the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing? Since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him, in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has spoken to him. Right, okay, yeah. Why are you laughing? Of course I'm giving you a son, because I've sorted out all the nations of the world under you, and we need your lineage, I think is what is being said here. Also, really, really important to note, all these rules and laws and stuff that Judaism follow and some Christians and whatever else. Where was it? They keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice. That's it. Righteousness, justice, way of the Lord. Simple. Be righteous and be just. Then the men turned away from there and went towards Sodom. But Abraham still stood before the Lord. And Abraham came near and said, Would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there were 50 righteous within the city. Would you also destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous that were in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, Indeed, now I, who am but dust and ashes, have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there were 5 less than the 50 righteous. Would you destroy all the city for your lack of 5? So he said, If I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spoke to him yet again and said, Suppose there should be 40 found there. So he said, I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, Let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 should be found there. So he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Indeed now, I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there. And so he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Then he said, Let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but once more. Suppose 10 should be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. So if a place is to be destroyed, it is because it is all wicked. All wicked. No good men. Which kind of, like, we've got to harken back to the days of Noah. That must have been a wicked world. And looking about these days, I couldn't count on one hand the righteous men I know. I really think that we are getting towards the end, and I can't wait, to be honest. I've spent 34 years frustrated, not understanding, being lied to, and seeing that I'm being lied to, trying to reconcile how... It's buggered. It's supposed to be buggered. Mankind is corrupt. There's only 144,000 saved in the rapture. Out of, 7 billion, 8 billion people? 144,000. We could only pray that we have done the Lord's will and walk with him in righteousness, so that when the time comes, he can look upon us and say that he knows us. That's it. All we can do is pray. Try and alleviate the suffering around you as much as you can, but nothing's done without God's will. Genesis 19. Now the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground, and he said, Hear now, my lords, please. Turn into your servant's house, and spend the night, and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go on your way. And they said, No, but we will spend the night in the open square. But he insisted strongly, so they turned into him and entered his house. Then he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Sorry if you can hear the dogs. I'm not going to stop them playing and enjoying themselves. And they ate. Now, before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded the house. And they called to Lot and said to him, Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we may know them carnally. So the angels take the form of men. I mean, it's right there. So where is all of this nonsense? It is so... We're on 19, Genesis 19, and it was right there. The people of Sodom seen men, but they were two angels. So of course they can take the form of men. And people have a problem. Oh my word. Anyway, so they want to know the angels carnally. Last time that happened, we got Nephilim. So Lot went out to them through the doorway, shut the door behind him, and said, Please, my brethren, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have two daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since... What? What? So Lot went out to them through the doorway, shut the door behind him, and said, Please, brethren, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have two daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof. Well, what? So the two angels come and say, these are angels, mind you, well above us, yeah? And they say, we're going to chill in the square, probably have a look about and see what's what. And he says, no, come under my roof, I'll look after you. And then the townspeople come and say, we're having them. These angels, anyone could have done anything. And his response was, I've got two virgin daughters, you can do what you want with them. That's vile. I understand that the ways of the Lord is above us and all of that, but that... I mean, that's just... it's not righteous, is it? I suppose that's why he's Lot and not Abraham. And they said, stand back. Then they said, this one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. So they pressed hard against the man Lot, and came near to break down the door. But the men reached out their hands, and pulled Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. And they struck the men who were in the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. Blindness both small and great. So I imagine small is the physical eye, and great is spiritually, perhaps. Well, that's my initial thing, but obviously I could be very wrong. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here? Son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city, take them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." Well, at least they didn't get the daughters. I suppose is this a lesson in you must give everything to God? But then what gives? I suppose this was back in the day where they feel like they're just property. But I mean, the daughters are human. Let us not judge. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Say hello. Say hello. Look, you're on camera. Good. Yeah. Oh. Sorry about that. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city." But to his sons-in-law he seemed to be joking. When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his two daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that he said, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." Then Lot said to them, "Please no, my lords. Indeed now your servant has found favour in your sight, and you have increased your mercy, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. See now, this city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live." No idea. Sorry. And he said to him, "See, I have favoured you concerning this thing also, in that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there." Therefore the name of this city was called Zoar. We've heard of Zoar before, but I can't quite remember what it was, but we can always go back. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, all the plain, all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward the land of the plain, and he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land, which went up like the smoke of the furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. And he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Then Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his two daughters were with him. For he was afraid to dwell in Zoar, and he and his two daughters dwelt in a cave. Now the firstborn said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man on earth to come into us, as is the custom of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him. That we may preserve the lineage of our father." So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he did not know when she lay down, or when he arose. It happened on the next day that the firstborn said to the younger, Indeed, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve the lineage of our father. Then they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. The firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger she also bore a son, and called his name Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the people of Ammon to this day. These haven't been a pleasant couple of chapters, especially by our modern standings. And Abraham journeyed from there to the south, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and stayed in Gerar. Now Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream. So, is this referencing back to the story where Abraham went to Egypt, or is he doing this a second time? But I suppose, yeah, must be a second time, because he was Abram when he done it the first time, wasn't he? She's my sister, but Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Indeed, you are a dead man, because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Lord, will you slay a righteous nation also? Did he not say to me, She is my sister? And she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocence of my hands, I have not done this. That's fair enough, I think. And God said to him in his dream, Yes, I know that you did this in integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now, therefore, restore the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not restore her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours. So Abimelech rose early in the morning, called all his servants, and told all these things in their hearing. And the man was very much afraid. And Abimelech called Abraham to him, and said, What have you done to us? How have I offended you, that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin, that you have done deeds on me that ought not to be done? Then Abimelech said to Abraham, What did you have in view, that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will kill me on account of my wife. But indeed she is truly my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said to her, This is your kindness, that you should do for me. In every place, wherever we go, say of me, He is my brother. Then Abimelech took sheep, oxen, and male and female servants, and gave them to Abraham. And he restored Sarah his wife, to him. And Abimelech said, See, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. Then to Sarah he said, Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Indeed, this vindicates you before all who are with you, and before everybody. Thus she was rebuked. So Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female servants. Then they bore children. For the Lord had closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. I'm still not sure if this is a second king who's trying to take her, or we're going back to the story in Egypt. I don't know. That was all quite a lot. We had a man willing to give up his daughters to be raped. Can't say that word. And then, well, I can on Rumble, but not on YouTube. And then, bit of incest. Were they following God's way? They can't have been. Nah. No. Yes, sisters under the Lord, but in the physical, that's just not on that, is it? May Jesus watch over us. We'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Please like and share and do all that stuff. Thank you.